Well, it's good to finally take the mask off. It's been a while since I showed my face around these parks, I can say. I just wanted to let you guys know a little bit about myself before we start this episode. I know you guys are familiar with me as my name Starks, which is my nickname. My real name is Milan Powell, so you guys could still go by Starks, and I'm going to still go by Starks in this episode. And to kind of open up to you guys before we get started, I just want to say I appreciate you guys, the listeners, love you guys. And in this episode in particular, we're going to go over some recent news. So you're going to probably get familiar with seeing this hat all the time. It's going to be a meaning in a way. It's just really important because I like to share my faith in Jesus Christ. And I'm probably wearing hats in particular because I'm starting to lose hair as well. So it's not just that, but it's really for a purpose to wear this hat. So again, thank you guys for coming in. I'm going to have better clarity still in the works with the media side of things. And I guess we can kind of get started. So with that said, I have LT the Sage running the 3 tonight. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. Good to have you above me, man. Going head to head tonight. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, we're going, and this is like the perfect episode because it's me and you. The White Knight is in the cave working on another vlog actually as we speak.
Nice.
And this is definitely different for me to put myself out there. I guess in a sense, social media is not really my thing, but the thing is, the Lord has put in my heart to kind of change and to try to reach out to the listeners out there in a whole different spectrum. But anyways, let me just go ahead and get to it. I'm ready to take people on for a ride. So one of the pieces of news, and let me actually go ISO real quick. This is also weird for me because I don't know if people know, when I record podcasts, I typically stand up, which is weird. So this is going to be hard for me to sit down. But anyways, let's stop dancing. Let's get right into it. So the recent news that's happened here today, this evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you may be in the fantasy world, is that Stephen Curry, it looks like that he could be considered out the rest of the season off this hand injury. LT, I will pass you the ball. What's your thoughts on that, man?
That's crazy news, Starks. That's crazy news. I think that basically that means that these players in Golden State right now, you want to put stock in Pascal for sure. As far as Alec Burks, I picked them up in 2 of my leagues. Pick them up. These guys are going to get run for the rest of the year. They have no reason to bring Curry back. They have no reason to push the envelope. We'll talk about that Golden State game, I'm sure, later. But yeah, it's crazy to see what's happened this year, and it's almost like the Warriors are the villain of the league. Starks, what do you feel? People are coming out saying that they're happy to see this, and it's crazy.
Right. And you know what's funny about that is you mentioning that it also makes me think that I'm getting these messages like, yeah, this is what they get. The curse is this is what they get because of the superstar team that they had over the years. And it's almost like it was like they put a sacrificial lamb and they were like saying, this is what you get for, putting everything in and taking all those superstars. But I mean, it's sad to say I've never been a Golden State fan, but I'll be honest with you, this is rough sledding. They're just people just all over this. And as we're speaking, I know that D'Angelo Russell did get the starting. He came. Well, I wouldn't say starting position, but he did come back. So actually, let's go ahead and segue into some of the games here because we are recording while games are going on. And one of the games I'm sure that you want to talk about, and before we get to it, is Kyle Lowry. He went out this game, the rest of the game. I think it was because of the thumb issue. So we're still looking for reports. But I'll pass you the ball. And, what's your thoughts on the Toronto side of things there, LT?
Oh man, so if Kyle Lowry is hurt for an extended amount of time, to me when I looked at the report and it didn't look too bad. But yeah, definitely want to keep an eye on it. If you're a Van Vliet owner, or I actually own Powell in a couple of leagues, Powell is definitely going to be the next man up over in Toronto. So if he's available and something comes out where Lowry's going to have a couple of days off, you definitely want to put some stock in a Powell because remember, even with this injury, the Toronto usually still holds a pretty tight ship there. But to get into the game, man, I mean, Pascal. He is definitely turning into maybe one of the breakout players this year in fantasy wise. Anyway, 44 points tonight.
Huh?
Yeah.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, man.
Whoa.
44 points. 5 snipes. He didn't get you any stock stats. That's not normal. So he's really
Oh
taken
my.
on a offensive role this game. But 10 rebounds, 4 assists, a 7 for 28, efficient outing as well. I mean, come on, man. You can't get any better. And guess who joined them, Starks? I mean, the guy we've been talking about all year, OG,
Oh,
a,
gee.
a new Obi. He joined them putting in
Yeah.
21 points. I mean, these guys are just having a field day right now as far as their efficiency and minutes. And what do you think about Toronto, Starks, as far as Kyle Lowry's situation and the outlook moving forward?
I don't know. I was just going to steal the ball. Thank you for saying that because when you said Pascal, I was thinking of Pascal from Golden State, but no,
Oh, no,
Pascal.
no, no, no.
I was just like, yeah, I was just like, wait a minute, but no, that's a still crazy stat line for Pascal Siakam to drop
Yeah.
that 44 burger, man. That is
Yeah, that's
crazy. And
crazy.
honestly, your boy OG as well. Like, depending on, gosh, I said the D word. I try to stay away from saying the word depending because I feel like when it comes to fantasy, it's almost like a cop out. But it's okay for anybody else to say it on the podcast. It's just me. But anyways, in particular, I'll say this: Kyle Lowry and I think Serge Ibaka was out. So
Mm.
if they are to miss it an extended amount of time, it kind of makes you think like, well, who's going to step up? Well, just like LT's been saying, the 7 to 8 man tight rotation ship that they're running is with Pascal, Anunoby and Van Vliet. They're pretty much the whole 5 starting lineup. Whoever they insert in, I think Norman Powell's going to get a nice boost. So if he's somehow available in a shallow league, he's the ad just in case that Kyle Lowry's out for a little bit of time. But that's where we're at. Looking at Gasol, I don't like to talk about his stats. He's not looking too good. Hopefully Kyle Lowry's not out, too long. But it looks
Yeah.
like Norman Powell's going to get a lot of the time. So we'll kind of transition to the New Orleans side of things. And your boy there, Brandon Ingram, I'll pass you the ball. What's your thoughts on him, man?
He's like, okay, so the couple episodes we've been joking, right? We've been kind of playing around, joking a little bit. He's legit,
Yeah.
man. At this point in time,
I can't do it, but go ahead.
yeah, I know you can't. I know you don't want to. You don't want to. I know it's like
I don't want
it's like
to.
a fantasy sin, right? Like to say Brandon
Yeah,
Ingram's legit, but like
yeah.
I think he's legit. Only because, as you say, there's a new blog coming out from Starks, sneak peek. But pump up the volume. I mean, look at him, 25 shots already
Oh my
in this game. He jumped up 3 snipes. I mean, perfect from the charity line. One got you those by accident stats: 1 steal, 1 block, 7 rebounds, 27 points with Nicolo Melli out there just stinking it up. I mean, I just, man, you got to buy into Ingram. I'm actually kicking myself for not trading him earlier in the year. I mean, to be honest. And so, yeah. I mean, also just to double back on the game. I mean, Brandon Ingram is the only one who played. We got Drew Holiday actually having a decent showing finally. He has been a little bit even. He hasn't been doing too well. We thought he was going to kind of be that guy for New Orleans. But it looks like it's Brandon Ingram. So who else on here did you see or that you liked as far as Starks on New Orleans side?
So on the New Orleans side of things, Derek Favors, he was coming back from an injury, and I know a lot of people are wanting to pretty much drop him essentially in the shallow league because the owners are irritated, and I can understand that in an aspect. Dynasty, you got to hold on to him, unfortunately, and in a redraft, if you can, to hold on to him, please do, because the 10 rebounds that he had was still valuable in 18 minutes. And I'm looking at a different stat line here on my side of things. Did I give the right stat there, LT, that has 10 rebounds Favors there?
Yes. I showed
Okay.
10. I showed 10. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Because it's a different format that I'm looking at. And then he had 4 points. I mean, the points is not cool, but what is cool is the rebound. So we'll say that. And then looking at this as well, correct me if I'm wrong here, because like I said, I'm looking at a different format. But it looked like Nicola Melli started over Josh Hart. Is that right?
Yeah, man. I don't. Yeah, Nicola Melli started over Jay Hart. That's what it looks like. Didn't
Yeah.
get.
So that is. Go ahead.
I was gonna. Oh no, I was gonna say real quick. Jay Hart still got more men. Their rotations look super weird, by the way, in this game. They played. They played like 12 people in this game, so I don't know, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They played 13 players more than 10 minutes in this game, so I don't know what was going on. But yeah, Jay Hart did not start this game, so Hart owners look out for that.
Yeah, and then also another stat line that sticks out to me is Alexander Walker, also known as Naw. I mean, he's starting to get minutes. It's like it's going to be
Hmm.
inconsistent with him, but the 13 points and 4 assists and 2 rebounds is pretty, it's pretty decent to have. And the thing is, in a dynasty format, you got to have them, and it's just an unfortunate situation because I know LT, and I think it's big. The Sage talking about the rotations with teams. I think that is a very valuable and handy tool to utilize as far as like how tight the rotation is and how loose it is. And looking at this, like you said, LT, this is a loose rotation at this time. I mean, honestly, New Orleans, they're 1-7. They don't have a good record, but even though they don't have a good record, they have interesting talent there. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting, very interesting to see when Zion Williamson comes back. And then we're going to see how your boy Brandon Ingram does. But we'll go ahead and transition to another game here. And the game I want to definitely talk about Sacramento and Atlanta. And I'll pass you the ball there on Sacramento. What's your thoughts on that game in particular there, LT?
Yeah, so Sacramento and Atlanta. I looked at it shortly. I mostly looked at the Trey Young stats because I am a Trey Young owner. I do have investment in him. But looking at the Sacramento side of it, pesky Barnes and Nobles still out there producing 16 points, 2 steals, 4 rebounds. And I think I mentioned this earlier on in one of the beginning episodes for me as a podcast, is that Harrison Barnes is almost like he's like a fantasy leech for anybody else that you have that you own on that team, because he's not the greatest. He's good and decent. He's decent in point formats, but he's just taking shots away from other people that could probably produce a little bit better. Holmes on Holmes is he's fallen he's fallen down a little bit. Now he did have 9 rebounds, 1 slap for you, and again, if you have Holmes on Holmes, he's a he's a luxury item right now. You got him you got him off the waivers more than likely, but he only had 2 points tonight on 29 minutes of play. So you want to see more production from him. But Starks, I'm actually gonna switch it over to you. What do you feel about Harry Giles getting about 8 minutes, close to 8 minutes tonight?
Yeah, as far as Giles goes, I think it's good that he got some minutes.
Mm.
I know a lot of people kind of gave up on him in dynasty formats, but I'm not going to try to hold on to him anymore. But if you're in a deep dynasty league, then I'm all about trying to hold on to him as long as you can. But the talent in Sacramento is starting to kind of bury him, unfortunately, because let's just think about it when what's his name comes back, Bagley. When Bagley comes back, it's going to be like Giles might slowly disappear. But on a positive side of things, your boy Deadman Walking, Dwayne Deadman is just not he's not fitting the bill right now for the Kings. And oh man, what was that? You hear that, LT?
Yeah, no.
I'm hearing something crazy on my side of things, so I'm gonna pass you the ball.
Okay, all right, switch over.
You hear
Yeah,
that?
no, I don't. What is that? I don't.
Okay.
What?
Never. Must have been an ad. Never mind.
Oh, okay, I see.
I'm back. So I'll say it like this. So just looking at this in particular, it's good to see Buddy Hield get
Mhm.
back. He's starting to cook a little bit again. It wasn't super efficient, but to hit the 3 snipes of 22 points, he got you a lucky stat with the slap. So that's good to see. Hopefully he's going to hit more snipes and get more points. And I want to hope that he reaches above 1 steal a game this season. It's going to be tough for him to do, but that's where we're at. So we'll jump on to the Atlanta side of things. I'll pass you the ball. What's your thoughts on the Atlanta side there, brother?
Man, yeah. So we were just talking about 2 players. Obviously, I'm going to touch on first one. I'll let you touch on Herder. First one is Trey Young. He's back. So hopefully you guys didn't, after his injury, get scared, cut bait, maybe take into a trade for him. Maybe you thought he wasn't going to come back, but he's back. He's doing his regular Trey Young stuff, pumping up the volume, 22 shots tonight. But 12 assists,
Hmm.
5 swipes. I mean, this guy
Oh,
is a monster right now in fantasy circles, and I think those 2 games maybe he was out slowed down his overall, where he's at in the top formats. But he's a monster. He's going to be a monster for the rest of the year. Him and Luca are definitely going to be going neck to neck for years to come in the fantasy space. But Jabari Parker, so we
oh
got to
my God.
talk about
Yeah,
hanging
we
with
do.
hanging with the Parkers. 11 for 18. 8 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, got you those stock stats. If you listen to us and you went ahead and picked them up in leagues that he may have been available, he just showed out. Yeah, he just showed out for you tonight. So definitely the Sage Eye was kicking on this one. So was the White Knight Shield and the Starks Unibeam. We were all pretty much hitting on all cylinders on this one. Pick him up. Do not look back. I think he's earned minutes now in that rotation until John Collins comes back. So yeah, I'm gonna kick it over to you, Star, and pass you the rock. What you think about the rest of the Hawks?
Yeah. I'm just gonna also piggyback off you on that Jabari Parker. You know, we all was accumulated the same thought logic and picking him up, man. And honestly, I agree with you also, which is oddly needless to say because we don't agree too much on fantasy basketball in particular. But we can't come in agreement on Parker that if he's somehow available in your league, you got to add him. And what also you said that I thought was strong is even if or when John Collins comes back, I think Parker has solidified a good role per se for minutes. So regardless if he doesn't start or not, if he could squeeze 25 plus minutes even off the bench, So I got to report while we're recording. It looks like Kyle Lowry diagnosed with a fractured thumb. My goodness. So that means Norman Powell's going to get some opportunity run there. Good Lord, this is tough for those fantasy owners. And you know what's crazy? We talked about Lowry the last couple of episodes. I'm going to go into ISO rant here. And, you know, the thing is, I don't know if, you remember, I was just like, the thing about him, somehow he always gets a little bit ailing injuries around the end of the season, but this is like very soon this year. And the thing that I was concerned also is, as you said, they're playing some strong minutes that fast, right? So with that said, they're going to dial it down. I'm thinking maybe, and I'm not a doctor, but I'll say this: he could be out 4 to 6 weeks, is my opinion on that. So Norman Powell would be the ad. If you are in a shallow league, I think you should press pause. Or if you're listening live, and I don't know if we are live, I don't think we are, but I would say just go ahead and grab them. And then at the same time, to kind of segue onto Kevin Huerter, I like to see those minutes come up, and they have 29 minutes, and he's starting to cook. 17 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. He didn't get you those stock stats, but this is a beautiful sight to see. Bembry's still getting the minutes. That's good to see. Old legend Vince Carter's still getting minutes, so that's good to see. So we'll kind of transition to the next game in Cleveland versus Washington. And LT, I will pass you the ball on Cleveland side. What do you want to talk about, man?
Yeah, man. So on Cleveland side, we have so I was actually we actually get this was an ESPN game, so it was on, and then I also get updates on my phone for Cleveland teams. I don't know why I have that set like that, but so they kept giving Yahoo kept giving me updates on the score of the game, and I kept seeing Triscuits or Biscuits as the highlighted player each quarter. And I'm just like, what is happening? So now I'm looking. So then I go look at his actual stats. And he put a lineup. He went 8 for 12. If you're in a battle in category leagues for field goal percentage, 8 for 12 is amazing. Didn't hurt you in free throws. Hit 5 of 6 free throws. 12 rebounds for our rare offensive rebound category leagues. I know you're out there. 9 offensive rebounds. Because I've been in an offensive rebound category league before. 9 offensive rebounds. Like, come on. 3 swipes, 2 blocks, and 21 points? Triscuits or Biscuits is legit. I mean, he's legit right now. There's no, and the thing about it is that there's no immediate, I know White Knight has mentioned that they may trade Triscuits. I don't know if anybody's going to want that contract. So I almost feel like Triscuits or Biscuits might be here to stay for the most part of this year. He's getting the minutes, he's getting the run. Kevin Love is more likely to be moved on that team. And so when you look at it that way, yeah, if you picked up Triscuits, you're smiling from ear to ear. I see those grins out there. You're smiling from ear to ear. And then my guy, Colin Sexton, pumped up the volume again. I love to see it. 19 shots. I don't even care that he missed the majority of them. 19 shots. Keep doing that, young man. Keep playing ball. And I'll just kick it over to you. This is your guy, Garlic Jr. I heard he actually had a decent game.
Yeah, Garlic Jr. had a decent game indeed. I think he could still pull away to be a better player this rest of the season. Hopefully, this is better things to come. 15 points with 6 assists is nothing to take lightly. He was efficient, 6 for 11. And, I'm not going to even talk about Triscus or Biscuits. You already, hit it there on the net or the nail on the head. And then obviously Kevin Love, he's still doing Kevin Love things. It's good to see. 16 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 slaps. Not lucky stats. And then I just say this. Hopefully, if you're in a dynasty format or even a redraft format, I'll be honest with you. This is kind of I'll be honest. I don't want to trade Kevin Love, right? But this is a sell high moment. And if you guys were in a sell high moment with Kyle Lowry, that would have been in. And actually, to be honest with you, I think I saved the listener's life not getting Kyle Lowry on the trade. I can't remember what it was, but that's what I say. But anyways, other than that, Kevin Porter Jr., I'm glad to see him get minutes. And not only that, in a dynasty format, that's beautiful because, he got 21 minutes, 13 points, 3 rebounds, and he got a steal. That's good to see. Hopefully his minutes go on on the bump up, on a rise, as Lewis would say. So that is good to see. I will go ahead and transition to the Washington side. My boy, Rui Hachimura, or Orochimaru, had himself a good game after I know the White Knight and LT kind of gave it to me in the last episode in regards to the Donut Egg Zero game that he had. But he had a really good game tonight, and he had 21.7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 stock steals. And also Thomas Bryant, he's looking good again this season, but even better, 23 points, super efficient, 11 for 16. He didn't hit any of his snipes, but that's okay. He got you 8 rebounds, a steal, and a slap. And I'll pass you the ball on whoever else you want to touch up on here, man.
Yeah, man. So I want to just kind of double back a little bit. I want to do a little bit of a behind the legs move to go through Kyle Lowry. So Kyle Lowry did get a fractured. We confirmed a fractured thumb. That is confirmed. It's almost like a freak accident. I mean, it wasn't. It doesn't have anything to do with his legs or ankles or I think he has an issue with his thigh contusions and stuff. But to be honest, you want to pick up Norman Powell. If you have an IR spot, hold Kyle Lowry. He should come back and he should be able to run his high. He was still run his same role he's in now, high minutes. Those rotations are probably going to stay the same if you have an IR spot or IL spot. But just to go back to Washington, Orochimaru with the 7 rebounds. I like to see him do a little bit more on the rebound end, and see if he can just add a couple, maybe 4 to 5 rebounds per game. But I know he's a Rudy Gay type, so that's why I want to see to change his fantasy perspective a little higher. I want to touch on, since White Knight isn't here. I know I make a joke every time, but his guy, Pizza Guy, even though it's your guy, I'm gonna call it White Knight's guy, Pizza Guy. He played a little bit closer to 30 minutes tonight. So with him playing a little, that's what I want to see from him and from my guy Rose when he comes back from injury. Stay tuned. To get to that 30 minutes, if Isaiah can get close to that 30 minutes per game, starter, and finish these games and get his points a little bit up, he's going to be a great add, as Starks tried to mention to us a couple podcasts ago. And then other than that, the rotations over on Washington's side seem pretty set as well. Just looking at this side, you got Ish Smith still stealing some minutes, but that's only because Isaiah Thomas can't run too long. But what do you think, Starks? Anything else on here other than I know T. Bryant, our guy T. Bryant went off, but anything else you see dynasty-wise?
Yeah, Troy Brown. I'm glad you want to talk about that. So Troy Brown is a player that I was like, please let him start over Bonga. Please just let it happen. Like a few episodes ago, and they finally inserted Troy Brown. So that is a good sight to see. He was terrible this game, but that's okay. He started. He was 1 for 8, 3 points, and he had 6 rebounds. And here's the thing. He's going to get you those counting stats. The 2 steals and 6 rebounds, that is nothing to take lightly. In the starting lineup in Washington, almost essentially a wasteland team. It's not, fun to see. And obviously, as you touched up on the Pizza Guy, the guy of Isaiah Thomas, the thing is, players can be bums. I get it. But the thing is, if you could take someone at a cutting coupon cost that you could have probably even essentially picked him up in the waiver wire, why not take a shot? Because if he doesn't work out, just drop him. But Isaiah Thomas, just like you said, LT, close to 29 minutes. This is a beautiful sight to see. So we'll go ahead and transition to the Memphis and Orlando game, and I'll pass you the ball on Memphis side. What do you want to talk about on Memphis, brother?
Yeah, Memphis. So my eyesight, my sage eye is all over J. So I am keen in on seeing him. I kept him. I stayed true to him. My pick in the draft. Didn't trade him for Brandon Ingram. And so I'm keen on him. So he played better this game. He's coming back. So he's played almost 30 minutes. And then he had no snipes, which I'm hoping that changes. But he had 2 for 2 from charity, 5 rebounds, okay, 1 assist, no stock stats, but he got you 14 points. So he's getting scoring back. He's getting back into the groove of things. He's getting his conditioning up. Hopefully he can continue to escalate that higher into 44-point games or 40-point games like Brandon Ingram did the other night. And that would make me look real good for keeping him. But let's see. Other than that, not really too much on Memphis side. To me, I know Memphis is really pushing pushing the tempo, but they still look super boring to me on paper. So I'm gonna switch it over to you, Starks. What do you think about Memphis? Since I think you like that team a little more than I do.
I do. I like Memphis indeed. The fast-paced offense doesn't seem like it warranted points because they got 86 to Orlando's 118, right? So that sucks. But I'll say this, Jaren Jackson, like you said, the conditioning should. I'm hearing more sound in my background. Probably don't hear. So hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead and steal the ball.
Yeah, I'll steal it from you. Still ball. I'm gonna touch up on the Magic while he works on getting that together. The Magic.
I'm gonna steal the ball back.
Okay, perfect. Okay, go ahead.
So real quick, I definitely want to talk about, to the listener. I definitely love you, man, because you're a new listener, and I'll say this: how's Dylan Brooks looking? Did you still want to pull? I think you pulled that trigger, right? But I'll say it like this: it's just this is an outlier game. He was 0 for 7 with 3 points and 4 rebounds. So better days is going to come for Dylan Brooks. But I guess I'll be honest with you now. I'm a little bit, I don't know, because it was like Draymond Green or Dylan Brooks. I mean, in a dynasty format, I'm still going to take Draymond Green. But what's kind of concerning now with the report that Curry's going to be out potentially the rest of the season, I mean, what's the point of trying to play Draymond Green? But if there's a silver lining in all this, they decided to play D'Angelo Russell. So maybe Draymond Green can come in a little bit more this season. So I'll pass you the ball. Well, before I pass you the ball, Brandon Clark Dynasty format. He's getting more minutes, I think, off and on. But what's a good sight to see is he took 12 shot attempts from the bench. So that's good to see. And I'll pass you the ball on the Orlando side there, brother.
Yeah, thanks, man. So Orlando side again. I'm love seeing Aaron Gordon and Jonathan Isaac be able to produce together. Jonathan Isaac took it tonight. I mean, it was like 5 minutes into the game, and I got a clipping from my phone. They were like Jonathan Isaac with 2 blocks already after his 6 block game performance. Wow, I'm like, this dude has 8 blocks in like four quarters
Let me steal the ball real quick,
yeah.
because I know you wasn't. You and White Knight wasn't too fond of Jonathan Isaac. Let me ask you: is your tune changed a little bit?
Yeah, seeing what type of player he is now and paying attention to his game, I see why you liked them earlier on in the year. Let me just tell you this, Starks. Okay, you drank that water. Let me just tell you this, Starks. Aaron, the reason why I was down, I was hoping Isaac wasn't going to be the guy is because I felt like it was going to take away from Aaron Gordon, who is one of my guys. So that's just something that I think is a direct effect. You like Isaac, I like Gordon's potential, but if they can both play together like they have right now, Aaron Gordon 7 for 11, perfect from the charity. We would like to see about 6 or 7 rebounds per game for him, but he only had 4 this game. But that's okay. I think he had a double last game. 1 swipe, 17 points, and then Jonathan Isaac. I mean, wow, this man's is a beast. The last couple of games, 9 for 11, only missed 2 shots, and then you got 8 rebounds, 4 blocks. I mean, come on. This guy is absolutely crazy on the defensive end, and that is exactly why you get him. That is where I didn't notice at the beginning of the year that Starks noticed. That right there. 1 steal, 4 blocks. That is, and he got you 6. He just got you in category leagues 10 blocks in 2 games. You can't there's He's out blocking big men. Like, it's crazy right now. You think if you picked up Jonathan Isaac and you paired him with like someone like Drummond, or maybe a Porzingis. I mean, come on now. You got that category block just kind of just clamped down. So I'll pass the rock over to you, Starks. I know Isaac's your guy. I know you want to say something else about him. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me hold on, bro. Let me take a look. Yeah, so just on top of that, thank you for juicing the orange. I just wanted to also say this. I just want to say a little bit more about Isaac. What if I was to tell you this, LT? Right now, obviously it's too early in the season. What if I told you he's a back end first round player value right now after this game? Isn't that outrageous, man?
That's outlandish.
Right. So he's a first round value. That's not to say it's going to be like that this season. I won't say that. But he was definitely, like you had highlighted and all, he was a breakout player for me before this season started. You know, I gave him a hard time the last few years, but it was a little bit different for me this year. I was like, you know what? As I said on a few podcast episodes ago, just because I'm down on a player doesn't mean I can change my tune even before it starts, right? And I'll even admit when I'm wrong and when I'm wrong on a player because I am wrong on certain players at times, you know? And just like us as experts as well, we'll make some errors, but we want to do the best we can to give you guys the right content and be more accurate. But Jonathan Isaac, I'm going to say it like this: in a Dynasty format, you are, as LT would be saying, you're smiling ear to ear because he's going to provide you some value. And honestly, I don't want to sell him high. I don't know. You could, but what are you going to get in return? I just can't do it. I'll get off the soapbox rant because I can gush over him like all in this episode in particular, but it wouldn't be fun to the fans because we got to get to some of these other players. So like Markelle Fultz is definitely getting some time. That's better, and he's still starting. I'll be honest, these stats are not the best, but what is nice to see is he had 2 steals and 2 blocks. That's really good to see with 7 points. Vucevic is still doing Vooch things: 23 points, 16 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a slap. This is his 3-pointer, triple one. This is the Vooch that we were looking at last year, right? And then, Mo Bamba, Dynasty format, he's still going to be in limbo for a while until Vooch just kind of disappears, but it's going to be a little while. Is there anything else that you want to touch up on this game in particular, or we're good there?
No, just to kind of just Evan Fournier Farina, my guy Evan Farina at Fournier. He is a points league dandy. I just want to make that apparent. If you look at the points league spread here for Fournier, it came third on the team at almost 40 points, right under Isaac. Even though Isaac had that crazy game in points formats, Fournier only came about 6 points underneath them. So Fournier is a points league dandy, as White Knight would say.
Yes. Fournier. So we'll go ahead and get to the Detroit game. Indiana wins 112 to Detroit's 106. I will actually pass you the ball because Detroit is one of your other teams that you kind of like looking at, although Rose is not there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
Just to let you know, Rose is taking an extended time off because, they don't want to win games, and they were winning too many games with him on the court. So they had to, scale back his time, give him some time off, lose a couple, and then they'll bring him back, and then guess what? They'll start winning again. So, but no, in all seriousness, as we mentioned about Smell You Later on the last podcast, he is 3 points. So he has those 3 points coming in here. And so he hit 3 snipes. So like I stated before, in category leagues, if you need a deep run 3-point specialist, give this guy a look. He's gonna get you. He's gonna get you some snipes, and then he might get you some steals. He got 1 tonight, and he might get you a block. So just keep a lookout. I can see you shaking your head now. So that's hilarious.
Brother, keep juicing that orange. No, that's good. I mean, I gotta respect it though. I mean, Snell is doing valuable stats. That's why I just can't take it. But no, you gotta give that. That makes sense, brother.
Drumsticks. We gotta tell. I'm gonna let Starks talk about Kenny G, Luke Kennard, but Andre Drummond. I mean, I mean, keep it up, big man. 3 for 4. See, this is the biggest thing for me that sticks out is this free throw. 3 for 4 is you'll take that every day of the week with Drummond. If he can keep those 3 to 4, get 4, 3 to 4s, that is perfect for him. He wasn't as efficient as you would like him to be, but 13 rebounds, came in with 8 assists. Wow, he 8 assists. So he didn't give you those block. He didn't block those shots, but he gave you some assist numbers to help you out in category leagues. I mean, this guy is on a tear. You want to see more points, but I mean, you'll give him a game where he scores 15, 13, 8. You'll let him have it. What do you think about Kenny G, or should I say Luke Kennard? How do you feel about him, brother?
Yeah, Luke Kennard, Kenny G, brother. Like, listen, he had a good game. 41 minutes, man. Talking about minute
Mm.
suction, that was excellent.
Whew.
29 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. He hit 4 snipes, hit all of his charity stripes. And let me just go back a little bit. This is an odd stat line, but Andre Drummond, he did attempt 2 snipes that game. He didn't make it, but he did attempt it, and that's a beautiful sight to see. And real quick to go on that ISO on Drummond as you were touching up on him, lovely. He's a first round value. That's even in the non-cat category league. So if you're in a points league, I wouldn't be surprised if he was one. I didn't check that, but to be in the 9-cat category within the top first round value, and you're honestly punting free throw percentage, but as LT had mentioned, his free throws is a little bit better this year. And if he's taking the low volume of shots at the free throw line, that is beautiful sight to see. But Luke Kennard, honestly, whether he's starting or comes off the bench, I definitely like to see this from him in particular. Hopefully, he gets more starts because this guy is a very underrated player, and I think he's overlooked in fantasy in particular. Again, if I talk about Detroit, it's always going to be about Christian Wood, and I'll just say
Mm-hmm.
Christian Wood. That's it. But I'll go ahead and transition to uh,
Uh,
Indiana, very wise. And again, oh, you're going to say something?
no. You did a little freeze frame right there. It's all good. You're good, but you're
Okay,
back.
so
You're back.
I'm back. All right, cool. So looking at this here is, TJ Warren, a guy that I was, I think LT is with me on this too, because when we had the Fox 4 was 2 against 2, where me and you were on the TJ Warren side of things of buying him, and I think the White Knight and Lewis was to sell high on him. Are you still feeling the same with me on that, or you are buying, or are you're different now, man?
No. The Warren G,
Yeah,
absolutely. Still,
Warren G.
we would talk about Kenny G. Now we're on Warren G.
Warren G.
Hey
Yeah.
man, I'm definitely buying on T.J. Warren, especially in points formats, and especially if, to me, and this is how you always have to look at T.J. Warren. He's that guy on the end of your team that's going to get you and hit you with those points. It's just point specialist. So he gets you those 1 steal, 1 block in this game. That's just an extra little thumbs up, nice job. But that's not what he's there for. He's there to get you good free throws, good free throw numbers, and a good amount of points, get you in those teams every game with the potential of going off every so often. And so for what he's there for, absolutely, you want to buy him, you want to keep him on the end of your bench for that purpose alone. And to my knowledge, I think he's going to keep that spot even when Turner and Dippo comes back. I feel like he's going to keep that spot and just move over to that next forward spot with Sabonis. So I think he stays on that squad. The Indiana is looking like a potential playoff team, so they're going to be playing for stuff later on in the year. So yeah, man, I'm buying in. Do you have any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm buying in on TJ Warren, and also if this is a bad game for Brogdon, I would think this is the more realistic. This is honestly the worst game I've seen from him
Mm-hmm.
because his assist total was only 2, right? But he did have 2 steals. He didn't hit any 3 pointers, and he had 11 points. So this was a really pedestrian, pretty bad game from any other game that Malcolm Brogdon had. It's been pretty much legit. Other than this game, now Aaron Holiday had 28 minutes this game. That's because of some of the injuries that's still there. Miles Turner almost made it this game. He
Mm-hmm.
almost did. It sucks that he didn't, but that's okay. But Domantas Sabonis, that dude is the real deal. 17 points, 14 rebounds, and a big man out of position stats with 6 assists, and he had a slap. So that is good to see. Justin Holiday, the Holiday brothers, even if they are brothers or not, from the bench. He had 30 minutes, 16.6 rebounds, and what? 4 slaps. So
Yeah,
that's an
man.
outlier. That's an outlier game, but that's a good sight to see. And that TJ Leaf, blow up a few games ago, we kind of all agree that it was an outlier game. He's back to who we thought he was, as LT would say.
Mm.
So we'll go ahead and transition to. Looks like we're. I'm sorry. We'll go to the Golden State Minnesota game. That was an OT game. I'll pass you the ball. What's your thoughts on this Golden State game, man?
Man.
Oh, I just seen that. Oh man.
Yeah, well, that's what I was alluding to earlier on in the podcast. He was actually, and we're talking about deloading. He
Yeah.
was actually hitting. He was in the 40s when we started the podcast, and it looks like he ended with 52 points. But I want to just preference this with his shot field goal attempts. So if
Oh
you
my God.
if you put in a pickup for deloading and he continues to play throughout the rest of the year, you are grinning from ear to ear after looking at this line. Play 40 minutes in an OT game and guess what? Shot it 37 times efficiently. Absolutely ridiculous numbers here. 17 attempted threes, hit 7 of them, 7 for 8 from the charity, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 swipes, 2 blocks, 52 points. And this is just to tell you that deloading still has it, and he hasn't lost his game at all, especially now that he's going to be running the show. So, I mean, we had a listener question here on Twitter. I want to touch in on Glenn Robinson III. I know he was questioning whether to Ant Simmons off of Blazers. We'll see how Ant Simmons does later today. See if he actually answers the call there in Portland. But as far as Glenn Robinson III, I don't see it. I don't see it. My sage eye does not see it. To be honest, if Alec Burks wasn't coming off the bench, I would imagine he would start over him. And Eric Pascal, you're gonna put in, you're gonna put your paper on that one. You're gonna rock with him for the rest of the year. The pool shark, same thing with him. You're just not seeing it, man. You're not seeing it for a team this barren. Uh, they have to do better than that. For 41 minutes of play to get 6 points, 7 rebounds, cool, okay, thumbs up, 2 assists, and only shoot it 7 times. That means that he just doesn't have the green light. He doesn't have the green light, and so you can't do it. Pool shark, out of town, and you wanna invest. I can't believe I'm saying this, but you wanna invest in Alec Burks. So Alec Burks is an investment. I know, Starks. I know it
You
feels bad
do,
to
but
say
you
it.
but you but you got to. You got to
You
though,
got
right?
to. He's getting the minutes and he's getting the shots. 10 shots. He's being efficient. 6 for 6 from charity. 9 rebounds. Does he do that? Does he rebound? Did he?
Not that I remember.
I guess he had his Birkins bag. I guess, and he was in his Birkins bag
Shut
this
up.
game. And so, but yeah, that's all I got on Golden State. This deloading stat line is absolutely ridiculous. If you are playing him in points league, you just went down 82.30 points going up against deloading. So I'm gonna pass it to you, brother. You got anything else on them?
Nah, you touched up pretty much on the whole team, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this at the same time with deloading or deload is what people call him nowadays. Is this was in vain for him. So dropping his 52 points, it was in vain because they lost. So now I understand. I kind of agree with you, and I kind of don't because it's like, well, this game, you obviously for any fantasy owner, you basically felt good about it this week. So
Mm-hmm.
I honestly would kind of do this, like reach out to a GM, talk to him nicely, be like, hey. Maybe not even after this game. Wait till he plays another good game because obviously, if you try to sell him now, they know that you're up to something after this blow up game.
Mm-hmm.
Have him when he has maybe another good game like the next game. Just kind of try to sell him off because honestly, Golden State still lost this game, and as they can probably continue to lose in a redraft format, I'm thinking about trading him away, man. Dynasty format, I'm going to obviously hold him in that aspect, but would I though? It kind of goes by who would you be able to get potentially in return. So I'll kind of transition to Kai Bowman on that real quick. I know he was a popular pickup in a lot of leagues. And I'll be honest with you, I was one of the ones that believed that he was going to be an okay pickup. He only got 12 minutes this game. That's because D'Lo was exploding. So I think Kai Bowman, if you're in a deep league, he's still worth a hold. Shallow league, you can kind of cut bait with him. I can understand. But I'll go to the Minnesota side, and it's always good to see my guy here, Carl Anthony Towns, the cat. 20 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, a slap, and 2 snipes. And honestly, to me, this is not even a good game from him, but we're going to take it anyways, right?
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, am I?
Yes, yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
oh,
You just
am I seeing this right?
you just now witness what I've witnessed. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
this
real.
Wiggins stat line, man. Andrew Wiggo, I like to call him Wiggo, is we give him a hard time, and I know LT actually was starting to say nice things about him. Like you were like, hey, we got to start respecting this guy. I'm gonna be honest with you. After this game, this is what's interesting to me. Well, the free throws, that's terrible. That's that. But anyways, that's just me nitpicking. But the 7 assists from Andrew Wiggins, like, are you serious? Of course, the 40 points, that's outrageous. We get it. The 3 slaps from Andrew Wiggins, the 2 snipes from Andrew Wiggins. Not only that, he pumped up the volume.
Oh man.
33 shots? Are they letting Andrew Wiggins shoot 33 shots on this team? I'm baffled. I'm just gonna pass you the ball to you.
Oh man, you saw those wigs too, huh? The wigs were out, huh? The wigs were out. So
But
so the first thing I see on Yahoo is the top points, and so Wiggins, I see Wiggins' face first. So I'm like, Wiggins, okay. Then I start looking at his stat line. I'm like, it wasn't a empty stat line. He came out. He actually did other things on the basketball court other than just scoring. He gave you 7 assists. He gave you 3 blocks. He gave you 5 rebounds. You don't want him to miss four of his charity stripes. He's usually pretty decent, better than that from there. So it might have been just an outlier this game. But the fact that he shot twice as many shots as Carol Anthony Towns is not sustainable. It's not sustainable whatsoever. So just keep that in mind. I am going to eat some crow on my guy Culver's ice cream over here. Had a just awful game, but I mean, he was just sitting back watching Wiggins play one-on-one with D'Lo all game. So I'm sure that's an outlier. Hopefully, he has better games to come. And then Covert Ops actually played really well. I want to just mention his stock stats
ooh,
right there.
yeah.
Yeah. Those are Covert Ops stats. Those are what we like to see. 5 swipes, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks. A double with 5 swipes and 3 blocks. I almost rather have that stat line than Wiggins' 40 points. But he got you some swipes. So I mean, I take that back. But 5 for 5 from the charity. Covert Ops is one of those guys. We like to call him Covert Ops because he's in there. He's somewhere around doing all the dirty things to get you those wins in category leagues. And there you go. That's exactly why you pick him up for these stat lines right here. Anybody else on the back end here on Starks on Minnesota?
No, that's good. And just like Culver Ice Cream, as you say, man, he didn't have a good game, but Dynasty formats, he'll be fine. Just be patient with him. But we'll go ahead and transition to the New York and Dallas game. New York, they beat Dallas 106-102. This is without Mitchell Robinson. So this is odd, needless to say. Oh my gosh, Marcus Morris, man, what is
Man,
going on here? What is going on here, LT? Can you help
man,
me?
I can't. I'm on life alert myself. This guy is this. We can't ignore it. It's almost a Brandon Ingram similar situation with Marcus Morris. You just can't ignore it anymore. He's stringing along these crazy games, and just to piggyback, I forgot to mention for my guy Wiggity Wiggity Whack. He actually has been killing it in the last 5 games. So and those are during Cat's suspension, as we know. So he's had extra run, extra time, but that may have got him in a nice little groove here. So if you're a Wiggins owner, you're probably happy to see that. But yeah, Marcus Morris is on an absolute 4-game tear, 29, 28, 18, 29 over his last 4 games. Those are his point totals, and he is on a tear. So he's feeling it right now. The issue with Marcus Morris has always been consistency. He'll have these nice little game stretches, and then he'll just drop off the face of the earth. So hopefully he can sustain it. Will he be this high all year? No. You got to go with the numbers here, but if he can just stay within that 15 to 20 point range and get you close to these 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 swipe, you'll be happy with that where you got him in drafts. And one person I did want to touch on before I got it over to you, Starks. I do see RJ Barrett's terrible line, but I'm gonna actually go on my guy Frankie Ntilikina.
Yeah.
I want to reference one of our last podcasts. We talked about his minutes and how they were scaling up. And so right now, he is the guard to own in New York. If you I know Fizzy Pop, as Starks like to say, fizz him out, is so wishy-washy with his rotations. And again, this is with Elfrid Payton being inactive. He's still hurt, it looks like. So that is, take that with some vigor there. But Frankie Ntilikina with 4 swipes, 3 blocks. He's not a true point guard. So what's happening is that he's playing this point guard role, but RJ Barrett is the one primarily with ball handling duties on this team. So again, I like Frankie in the go forward until unfortunately until boring Payton comes back. Frankie in. What do you think, Starks? Are you buying into to Frankie in keeping that spot going forward?
No, I'm not buying it, but it's good to see him, come out. I mean, especially he would have been a nice streaming and waiver wire ad. You can just hold on to him and see how things shake out because, as you know, Fizz can fizz you out at any time. This still comes on the heels of DSJ. The guy still somehow believe, I don't know why, that he's been out because of personal time, just like Elfrid Payton, which you had mentioned, Mitch Robinson, all these players that's been out. But it's funny because Fizz is fizzing everybody. Only 2 people that I can think of that he's not fizzing out at this point in time is your boy Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. Now, RJ Barrett didn't have a good game here. We get it, but he still got the minutes. Very inefficient. Now, I'll say this. I'll say this. I'll put it to you like this. RJ Barrett, although this is a bad game, this is honestly a good stat line because he didn't pull him out, right? So that only means if there's another player on New York Knicks that had a bad game, he probably would have got the rug pulled out underneath his feet. So that's a good sight to see, honestly, if you could take any silver lining in that stat line behind RJ Barrett. But Bobby Portis does Bobby Portis things. He pumps up the volume. Doesn't matter what team he's on. If he's getting time from the bench or if he's starting, he's going to take a lot of shots, 15 shots, 12 rebounds, 14 points. So that's good to see. I'll go ahead and go to the Dallas side. Luka Doncic, man, oh my goodness. I'll say it like this. You can still hear me, right, LT?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, yeah, it's got sound. So, I was gonna say Luka Doncic, man. This dude he's exploding like out of I wouldn't say out of nowhere, but I honestly, like I said in a few podcast episodes, and I believe this. I didn't think he would be this well this year. I thought maybe later on in the season or maybe next year in a dynasty format. But honestly, this dude he's looking ready, as you would say. He's ready. And 38 points, 10 assists, 14 rebounds, a triple-double. He didn't get any stock stats, but I don't care. But here's the stat line that I really look on Luka because what dropped him in rankings last year is his percentages. He hit all 9 of his charity stripes. He was 13 for 26 field goal percentage. That is a good sign for better days to come for him. That progression is coming, and that is good to see. And I got to get in a better habit of looking at the camera. So I do apologize, guys. I'm just looking at some of the stuff here. But I'll say this. Also, Porzingis, my goodness, he had a great game too, finally, right? Well, I wouldn't say finally. He'll be fine. But the 35 minutes is the good mark to see from him, with 28 points, the 5 slaps, the 9 rebounds, almost a double-double, hit 4 snipes. So that is good to see. I was looking at DeLon Wright. So I know some people, well, this is not a good game from him, 25 minutes in particular. I don't think you're too high on DeLon Wright, LT, which I can understand in a sense. But I think there's better days to come for him. But I'll pass you the ball if there's anybody else you want to talk about there in Dallas.
Yeah, so Dallas is 5-3, and I wanted to just mention that they just lost to New York, and so you might you might think that there may be some changes to their rotation. Dwight Powell did not get it done tonight. I'm going to talk real quick on just a basketball level. Kristaps Porzingis getting 35 minutes. is very, very good. I'm glad you touched on that, Starks. That is the biggest thing. I know he had a good stat line, cool, 5 blocks. You love to see it, but 35 minutes. That is the key. That is the key for Porzingis to have a fantasy year out of this world. And he has the teammate. You know for a fact, Porzingis was the guy. But in my humble opinion, Porzingis is a good sidekick. He can be the guy at times, but for Luka to be the guy and take some of that pressure off of Porzingis and Porzingis can just do his thing, I feel like if he can stick within that 35 minutes, he looks the part. You've seen the guns. You've seen what he looks like. If he could get back that, he's ready. If you get that wind under him, wow, it's going to be a fun ride if you have Porzingis going forward. I do want to switch on some of the starting lineups here. Courtney Lee only played. He started, but he played 4 minutes. I don't understand what happened there. I really don't. I'm very confused. Why Courtney Lee was out there in the game, and then you have to imagine that out of Tim Hardaway and Seth Curry, one of those two have to emerge as that 6th, 7th guy in this rotation. Tim Hardaway had the minutes tonight at 14 points. His stat lines are usually very hollow, but he pumped up the volume. 15 shots tonight for their team. When Dorian Finney-Smith wasn't having a good game. So just keep an eye out on Tim Hardaway Jr. He always seems to find his way to some type of relevancy in fantasy by the end of the year. So keep your eyes out on him. And Steph Curry, I just don't understand why he's got the minutes. He didn't take any shots tonight. He is a literal walking 3-point bucket. They need to get him more time. But other than that, if you don't have anything else, Starks, that's all I got.
No, that's all I got. But we like to be transparent on this podcast. I got to ask you a serious question right now, LT. Are we recording, man? Are you recording on your side?
Yeah, I'm recording.
Okay.
We're
okay, because I was gonna say I didn't hit the record button on my side, so I was hoping we're good. You ever just record the podcast and not even record live?
Hey, that would that be sweet? Nah, my red button's on. I won't lie to you. Your mask reveal may have been botched, but other than that, it's been recording.
Okay, you said what's botched?
Yeah, the mask reveal may have been botched a little bit.
I got this. I guess I got this ad explained. What'd you say again? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I said the mask reveal, the Iron Man mask reveal may have been botched a little bit.
Of course. That's all.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I finally found the ad, but it's like almost too late because we're almost done. So we'll go into the transition there of the Sixers game because we're recording while games are going on. This game is almost over, and I know we can keep it kind of live and real with you listeners. I'll just say this, LT, because I'm sure you got the better internet connection at this time. Are you seeing 1 second left in this game with the timeout right now?
Yeah, yes, I am. 1.2 seconds. Looks like I can check real quick with the game screen. Looks like Jokic just hit a pretty much that last shot was a Jokey boy shot for Denver to go up by 98-97, and Philadelphia has 1 second to score.
Wow. So yeah, Denver's up right now, 98-97, and I mean we'll still we'll surface back to this game because hopefully we'll just hit real quick on the other games real quick because we're obviously not going to be able to finish those games, right? Other ones that's live, like the Brooklyn and Portland game. So just looking at that game real quick, I'll just highlight it real quick. We're not going to dive into it deep. It's 54-49. Brooklyn is up. Kyrie Irving is doing Kyrie things. The Prince of All Saints is not efficient, but he has the 5 rebounds. LeVert, he's doing okay. Portland, I'll pass you the ball on Portland. What's your thoughts on Portland?
I have so many thoughts. I have so many thoughts.
Ben, if you have to.
Hey man, so okay, I gotta get this out.
Go ahead.
We have no help. It's just the Lillard show out there. Sometimes McCollum shows up. Sometimes he doesn't. Hey, this game he doesn't. 1 for 10, 2 rebounds, 1 steal. Okay, McCollum, I guess you're just not good anymore. And then Damian Lillard, look, he's basically a broken back right now. He's carrying us literally through a minefield. 9 for 14, 3 snipes, 5 for 5 from the charity, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. Of course, he doesn't have any stock stats. He's too busy shooting the ball. 26 points. 26 points in the first half is Lillard. He's literally our whole entire offense. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's gonna happen with us. Anyways, they finally put Tolliver to the bench. Thank you, hey Tolliver. Hey, Terry Stotts. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you finally putting Tolliver to the bench. He's not good anymore. Thank you. And then yeah, so Hazanya's not playing well. Rodney Hood not just playing well. This is the first time I think all these guys have played together. So hopefully better times to come. I will touch real quick on Anthony Simmons. So far, he's played 18 minutes, which is almost as much time as Damian Lillard and CJ. Just 2 to 3 minutes. So he's getting minutes now. And this is exactly what I told. We had a listener question on Twitter. Appreciate the question, brother. But this is exactly what I saw. Just because this is my team, he has to get more minutes. We need scoring. We're really lacking in scoring this year. He has to be involved. So he's already showing dividends of playing 18 minutes in that first half. So yeah. Other than that, Starks, I got nothing else, man. I'm disgusted.
Yeah, I know Hazonia got the head nod for the head start, but he's not doing anything for you at all. Oh my goodness, McCollum! I didn't see that stat line.
Yeah, he's playing awful. And then of course Lillard makes another 3-pointer. This isn't sustainable. This is just, but if you're a Lillard owner like I am in like almost all my leagues, I'm not too mad about this stat line, obviously, but yeah.
No, that makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. But like you said, touched up on Simons in a dynasty format. This was a darling, and as you mentioned too, I think you had mentioned he should be a dynasty grab or at least
Yeah,
hold on your team.
definitely,
I think
definitely.
he's going to be a good player, and I think they formulated, hopefully at some point in time, that they're going to maybe play the small guards with CJ, Lillard and Simons. That would be nice, but that could be wishful thinking. But you never know; they may do that at some point in time. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and I think that only makes sense to do it at some point in time. But we'll go ahead and jump into the Denver and Philadelphia game. It looks like it's finally over. And then after that, we'll kind of tie into the clutch shot here momentarily. Philadelphia and Denver. Denver wins 100 to Philadelphia's 97. I'll pass you the ball on whatever side you want to touch up on first, man.
Yeah, I gotta talk to my man Will Barton. He came in. He's one of my late round steals, and he is just doing it for me. He had one bad game recently, and in about a 5 or 6 game stretch, he did have a little dud in there. But look at this game: 36 minutes. He's starting. Remember, last year he was a 6-man. He was playing that 6-man role. This year, he's a starter and playing starter minutes, baby. 36 minutes tonight. 8 for 12, 2 snipes, 2 for 3 from free throw, 7 rebounds with 2 steals and a block. I mean, this line is just where you got him at. I know I got him in like last 3 or 4 rounds of my draft. If he is putting up stats for you this year, and that's beautiful to see. You know what? We got to give a thumbs up to Jokey Boy, as me and Lewis would say. He's finally he's making a little bit of a comeback. He actually has been pretty bad for his ADP drafting wise, where people draft him at. I mean, he was like a top 5 draft pick in some of my leagues, and he hasn't lived up to that so far this year. But that doesn't mean he can't get back to it. 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 26 points, 2 snipes, 10 for 22. Not as efficient as he usually is, but I don't know what's going on there with Jokey Boy. But you would imagine that as the season goes on, he's going to round up and kind of get back to form. And I'll pass the rock to you real quick. This is your guy, Murray's Pomade. He's been making some strides the last couple of games. What do you think about Jamal Murray's?
Yeah, Jamal Murray's pomade. It's good to see. Obviously, he's typically a top 50 player or better at any point in time, or even say more on the safer side, top 60, because typically we can kind of remember he's not a person that gets steals, but sometimes he does. So For this year in particular, the 37 minutes is a good sight to see. And just like how you were talking about Jokey Boy, the Joker, if you were able to buy him low in any format, you could have got him a little bit cheaper. And honestly, even though he wasn't doing good at the start of the season, better days are to come. Honestly, Denver has a lot of good players in its rotation. In particular, it's good to actually see Will Barton to get minutes. But this comes also on the heel of, so this is okay. So let me say this. This is tough for, and I think this is important to talk about. Gary Harris, I got a listener question in regards to like Gary Harris. Do I drop him? I'm like, it's hard for me to drop Gary Harris. It will always be as far as how deep your league is, and I'm just going to assume it's a redraft league, right? But if you're going to drop him, who are you going to add, right? So it's hard for me to drop him, but I'll be honest with you. If you're in a tight squeeze, you got to make a drop on him, and it's sad. It's really sad to see this, man. It's almost like Will Barton. Will Barton is pretty good, but he's looking better than Gary Harris. And I just hope that it's like I don't want to believe that, but I think you got to believe it for right now. I think better days are to come. Honestly, in a dynasty format, you hold a Gary Harris and see what you can get. But in a redraft format, I hate to say this, in a shallow league, you can cut bait with him. It's really gross for me to say that, in a sense that I know that's one of Luce's boys too. So as far as going back to pivot back to Jamal Murray with the 11 assists, that's nothing to take lightly with the 22 points. And then Jokic, you already covered him. Millsap is getting older. I'll leave it there. But one of the players that a lot of people are getting a little strung on is Michael Porter Jr. I'm just gonna say like I don't know. The dynasty GMs are like, oh man, he's gonna get minutes this year. Please tell me like how. How is he going to get minutes? There's a lot of good players on this team. Jeremy Grant was a solid player in OKC last year, and he's struggling just to get in the starting lineup, or not even in the starting lineup, but rotation minutes. And Jeremy Grant is a good player. He's underrated, that is, right? Monte Morris is pretty good. Malik Beasley is not bad, right? Millsap is still a veteran. I get it, but the 34 minutes, it's sad to see that. But he's getting the minutes. You got to respect it for what it is. So, that's where we're at when it comes to Denver. I'll go ahead and transition to the Philadelphia side. And, Philadelphia, oof. Raul Neto, he got the start. This wasn't the best stats. It's okay. Honestly, LT talked about him a couple episodes ago, saying pick him up because if Ben Simmons is going to be out for an extended time, they went ahead and put him in, right? So in saying that, you can just think of it like this. We're going to get the little quick value, handy assist from him. He's not going to score a lot of points, but the 13 points is a nice, sight to see. And then get you a underrated slap on top of that. That's good, efficient. Hit all three of the snipes. I'll kind of look into. Oh, it looks like I think I thought I seen something. But Joel Embiid, this is. I don't know how to take the stat line. Some people might think it's sweet, but I don't know. I'll be honest with you. The 15 rebounds is nice. 19 points is nice. What isn't nice is the 8 turnovers. And I don't care about turnovers because I'm plenty turnovers. But, that still sticks out like a red flag. He fouled out with 6 personal fouls. I'll pass you the ball, LT. Who else you want to talk about here, man?
Yeah, so Joel Embiid, man, ever since he came back from his scuffle with Cat, he's been just okay. He was actually going off right beforehand, and so he's kind of cooled down. 15. Let's be real here. We're talking about Joel Embiid, and we're talking about his ADP, where you drafted him, and what we expect from him on a percentages level. Now, obviously, these numbers, you talk to the normal untrained eye. Oh, he has 15 rebounds and 19 points. He had a great game. But then you look at some of the other things, especially in category leagues, you just don't need those 8 turnovers. You don't need that. That can sink your week right there. And then you look at his free throws, and then you look at his field goal percentage, 6 for 17. That is not cutting it for your big man. A lot of times, big man, one of their redeeming factors is that they're efficient on the field goal percentage side, which is a category. So I want to see better from him. I know better things are to come. But we hope he comes back. Josh Richardson, he's continuing his inconsistent season so far on a fantasy level. 3 for 10. No charity stripe. That's right. That he's He's a Buddy Hill type. 5 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 swipes, but only 7 points. Not for Josh Richardson. You want to see more points. You just want to see it, and you want to see him average about 3 to 4 snipes a game. That is what you want from him. That's why you pick him up where you did in your league. So hopefully he continues to increase. And I am worried a little bit about our guy Thigh Bully. And he didn't play tonight. I don't know if I didn't think he was hurt or anything else, but I wonder if Furkan Korkmaz is taking time from him just because he seems a little bit more polished as a player out there. So Thigh Bully definitely has the upside, but Korkmaz had that I think that game winner the other day. And ever since Korkmaz hit that game winner, they've been loving him down there in Philly. So just keep an eye out on that. Maybe this is just an outlier game because Thigh Bully has played pretty much in every game. But keep an eye out. And again, just to touch up, Raw NATO, yeah, pick him up if you can just to get a little quick bump in efficiency and stats. Those numbers don't jump off the screen, but you can't do any worse out there in deep team leagues.
Yeah. And real quick, I'm glad that you brought up Korkmaz.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to get some pretty good minutes, but I'll say this. If this is a buy low in a dynasty format, a deep one that is, this is the moment to get our guy, Thibault, and as LT would say, Thibault. He gives you the stock stats. So this could have been a what is it, a DNP CD.
Yeah.
It could have been that, but I think this is a player that is going to give you the stock stats, and you should go ahead and take advantage of reaching out to the owner, try to poach him from him, and try to add him to your team because I think better days is to come. But you know what still bothers me in a dynasty format is a player. What's his name? Zaire Smith. Like, where's the reports on him? Like, I want to know. Like, someone has listeners. Let me know about him because he was supposed to be a guy that was going to be a talent to at least get some minutes, and I just have not seen him. Is he injured? I know he had the Jones fracture a little while or last year, but it's like he came in, he did okay, but I'm just trying to figure out what is going on, and I just need to research. I'm being lazy, so I just need to figure out what is going on with him. So, um, again, I want to say we're going to transition to the clutch shot. Before we do that, I just wanted to let you guys know. Thank you for allowing me to. What am I trying to say? To show my presence in. You're going to be able to get my presence along with LT's. The Sage, he's already ready for you. And in the White Knight, I'm sure he's going to be ready to show and open up to you guys in particular because, what we want to try to do is be different at the same time, give you guys, the analytical stats of things. And I know there's other, avenues to take, but we have a passion for this and we thank you guys. And if you could, LT, my clutch shot, if you can go to the website, it's newlifefantasy.com. I actually, before we get, you can actually open up that article I just wrote, Fantasy Dynasty, thought logic with the art that I created. Pump up the volume with Tatum and SGA. This quick article that I put down is basically the higher attempts for these players in particular. I think you can use this as a tool to give you an idea of sometimes players when they get more shot attempts that can help them in particular to be a better star in the NBA or in fantasy in particular. Now, there's going to be some progression and some regression in that aspect, but it's obviously a nice little article I wrote up. So you guys check it out. It's on newlifefantasy.com. And let me know if you guys have any ideas on like artwork on a player that you want me to do. Let me know. I'll work that out for you. And I love to actually do that now. Something I've learned, within the time span. But I'll also say this. Make sure you guys subscribe to the website here. Join the mailing list. Once you join the mailing list, then you would be able to get those blogs as quickly as possible. And also, LT, if you can check out the rankings too, real quick, as you're scrolling there, man. To the FantasyBasketball rankings there. It's not up, but it is. You got it. So we need to update the rankings, but we have our rankings there. We got Dynasty rankings, we got the redraft rankings, we got the points rankings. We got a lot going on there. So you guys check it out, man. It's going to be good for you. Also, like I said, subscribe to the podcast, give a 5-star rating, write a review, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button at the bottom. for us. It definitely helps us out on YouTube to get more, views. So we want to definitely help you guys out throughout the year. And honestly, in the Dynasty format, this is kind of like a Dynasty podcast, but LT the Sage will get you that redraft flavor. Jacob the White Knight will give you the points. And we kind of intertwine and mix our own logic on things in particular. Not only do we do fantasy basketball, as you can see on the picture, we do fantasy football, we do fantasy baseball. And if you look on the right side, we touch up on the faith of Christ a little bit. So, I can share my faith. I don't have to be ashamed of the gospel. So, this hat in particular that I'm wearing is a representation of you guys you'll learn as in the journey of us and get to know us a little bit more. Obviously, we're not going to just give you content, but we want to welcome you in on how we live our lives as well. So I think that's important. So even check out that One Soul article. So with that said, you guys, I will pass you the ball there, LT, if you have a clutch shot for the listeners, brother.
Yeah, man. So quick thing. I just want to touch up on the Milwaukee Jazz game. Looks like that may go into OT as well. But just to touch up on what Stark said, these guys are pumping out some amazing articles. I just don't know how they're doing it. We have the streamers. We have the streamers, and Jacob, his streamers article comes out pretty much every Saturday or Sunday. So he'll probably have that streamers article for next week coming up for you guys. So stay tuned to that. Also, I am pumping out YouTube videos for our podcast. Our YouTube is actually getting some nice traction. So please join in, take a look at the podcast, put a like, favorite, subscribe, do what you can for our podcast there so we can start reaching out to more people. That is what we want to do, is really get on the map there. But I wanted to just touch up real quick on Eric Bledsoe. I am eating a lot of crow on Eric Bledsoe. So he is 8 for 20 right now, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 block, and he is showing he basically, like what me and White Knight have said, he's listened to the podcast. I told him what's going on, what he needed to do, that he's sucking wind, and he's proven to me that he is still here and he can still do it on the big level. So I just wanted to reach out. I just wanted to mention that. But yeah, I'm gonna shoot it over to you, Starks, and see if you wanted to close up shop.
I was just gonna say on top of that, the only reason why he's having a good game is because he my guy Curious George is having a bad game. That's why. Hey, but for you listeners, real quick, hey man, Curious George Hill, man, don't sleep on him, man. He had a good game last game. I like to get those players that shouldn't do good, but they do kind of do good. So that's what it is. So you guys, thank you guys for listening to us. We love you. You can find me on my Twitter handle, and again, actually ask me any questions at any point in time. I'll get to them at a prompt time. But you can find me on my Twitter handle. It's at Starks_industry. You can also find me on Instagram, One Closing Hero. I'll get better at looking at the camera. I don't know. This is new to me. So You guys bear with me on that. And I'll pass you the ball. Where can I find you out there, LT?
Yeah, man. You can find me at Twitter at Sage Network X. You can also find me on IG, what I usually check on at _Sage Network _. And if you have any questions for me, whether it be about Dynasty, redraft, Dynasty questions, I would shoot over to Starks. But when it comes to redraft leagues, shoot me any questions you have. I would love to give you my insight. Or if you have any questions in general about anything, shoot them over to us. We were glad to help you and grow with you guys.
Right. And I know this was probably a long episode, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. And with that being said, have a good evening, morning, afternoon. God bless you guys. Take a ride.